What internet marketing expert should you spend your valuable time listening to? Listen to someone who has over 20 years of web marketing experience and hundreds of website marketing success stories. That man is Aaron Sparks from Site Strategics. And this is Edge of the Web Radio.
All right, let's find out how to find out why your customers aren't buying from you. Check this out. We got an article from SEO Moz that is really a great perspective into getting to know your customers and figuring out why people aren't actually transacting with you. John.
Yeah.
Give me some input on that. There's a number of really good points about how to find out what's going on in your website, and tell me a little bit more about this.
Yeah, so they did list about 5 good resources for figuring this out on your own e-commerce site. One of which is if you have chat on your website, you want to look at your chat transcripts. You want to see what your customers are saying and how your sales, whoever you have manning that chat line, how they're interacting with your customers or prospects.
So what you're talking about there is having like an online chat program. We've seen them before, live chat that allows an operator to have an icon that you can actually interact with a live person.
Yeah, some of them are really nice. Like you can have some that'll pop up after so many seconds.
Right, I like those.
And the other part of this that people should know is it's really inexpensive.
Yeah, it is.
Like I think it's under like $40 a month for a really good one.
Yep, and on top of those applications also have apps online, so you can take that chat with you. So if you're thinking that you're going to be tethered to your desk, or you got to man that chat line, you can actually receive that interaction on your smartphone.
One of the ones that we use just integrated directly with Skype. So as long as everybody was logged into Skype, they could answer the chat. It was nice. It was pretty slick.
We actually have one that we have on Site Strategics that will tie into terms that have been searched upon that brought traffic to your page, and we'll turn around and respond with a particular cultivated introduction. Hey, we saw that you were looking for Google AdWord management. Ooh. How can we help you in that regard? And that's already automated. Automated. Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's neat. It really is.
So Snap Engage, that was the one that I used.
Yeah. So the point is just to go back and through your history and chat logs and to figure out what went wrong during the sales process or how you could improve.
Good idea.
If they didn't. It's a good point.
They can't find things. They can't navigate. They can't, whatever problems they ran into. That's a good one.
Another one is actually establish a formal win-loss program and use a 2-channel methodology where channel 1 is customers, new customers, and prospects. In other words, folks who didn't buy your stuff.
Sure.
Second channel is your sales team, support people, etc.
Ooh, nice.
The third magic ingredient often is actually have a third party perform win-loss analysis for you.
Objectively.
And they talk a little bit to that here, talk to sales and customer support people, eat your own dog food.
Yep. Yeah. So the second one, surveys is on there.
Surveys, yeah.
Putting your own survey, asking, if you didn't sign up, can you tell us why not?
Yeah.
And there's a couple of survey that they mentioned in this. Survey Monkey is by far a known tool, and it's an easy drop-in to your website. FormStack. We love FormStack. FormStack has their own surveys. 4Q survey, Qualaroo. There's a number of, and we're going to put some
just
links
ask. People will tell you.
Yep.
Especially if they're frustrated.
And you know what? In this environment where social media is, the customer is. They realize the power they have. If you are embracing that and you come to them with a communication, a dialogue of some sort, hey, we know you're over here. We would really like to know what you think about the site, or the product, or what do you think about the product offerings, or can you tell us a little bit about why you may not have bought from us, right? That embraces the online culture. It's not you're not trying to be invasive. They appreciate that type of communication.
And right there might turn around the sale too.
Absolutely.
If you're responsive, with a prospect, often that's a good signal that, you're going to be responsive, after the purchase as well.
That's right.
And it's funny because SEO Moz is basically trying to be really nice in saying that marketers are probably the worst people when it comes to talking with customers.
In some respects,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
I one of the things I loved in here was eat your own dog food. I'm always amazed when you when you get someone that, in a boardroom and, and they've got that e-commerce site, and you ask them, go buy something.
Yeah.
And go see how difficult it is.
And let's just kind of set that stage for a second, man. Literally, if you build a site, an e-commerce site most especially, and you haven't actually gone through a transaction yourself on your own website, one, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
But two, is that you need to experience what your consumers are. And if you don't see the entire flow or the entire funnel, then you've got blinders on to what they're experiencing. There may be some sort of JavaScript thing that's not allowing them to fill out the appropriate field, or there may be something that is not formatted that is easy to understand from a step-to-step process.
Or they're on IE6.
Or they're on IE.
That could be a problem. No,
friends don't let friends use IE. Go ahead.
Yeah, we had a prospect come in, and we obviously want to do that for prospects that come in that have an e-commerce site. Well, what are you trying to do? Trying to get registered users. Okay, well, before we start offering advice, let's go through the process and register. And we register, and then we get inside and we realize, oh, well, you know what? There's nothing on the right sidebar. There's no call to action. There's nothing that's getting me to, engage in the community that you're wanting me to register in. Yeah. So right there, I don't even know. It just offered up so many ideas on how we can improve it just by going through ourselves, through the process. So it's vital.
Well, and when you're the people that own the site, you're so worried about content and imagery and everything else. It's not that you're doing a bad job. It's just that you're mired in the detail.
Right.
And so it's great to get somebody with an outside view, to take a second look at this and to walk through it. I mean,
and you know what happens in those times where somebody is brought in as an objective viewer of just walking through, you're going to have nuggets of gold that were right in front of you of a change that maybe that John talks about this on a regular basis, the 80-20 principle, is what's the biggest thing that's going to unfetter traffic and transactions through your website. It may be just that easy. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that was what people were stumbling upon. So, I mean, we look at people's the website's analytics where there's some bailout points to a checkout process. It also gets into another point is that if you don't have your Google Analytics or whatever measurement platform you've got to track your traffic, if you're not tracking it through what's called a conversion funnel, and that's basically just tagging the steps along the way of a transaction. You go to this page, they toss it into the cart, they go into the order process, they go into the verification process, they finally get to the golden holy grail there of a receipt page. If you don't have that mapped out, then you don't know where people are stopping.
Falling off.
That's right.
And it's a lot easier to fix conversions typically than it is to double the amount of people coming to your site.
Yeah.
And also you double your transactions very quickly.
Yeah. And also if you have a strong analytics methodology, it also provides a framework where you can better understand what the user is actually doing. For example, what if it turns out your mobile site, isn't about conversions, but instead they're using it to find where your brick and mortar stores are.
Perfect example.
That is extremely valuable information.
You got that right. And if you're not serving that up, then people are dropping off like flies. And it doesn't really matter if you're trying to put in front of them that latest product that you want to sell. They're not looking for that.
Right.
So you need to be intuitive, but you also need to have a view of what type of users are interacting with your website. And a lot of times you may be a little bit centered on, are we getting the company message in front of people, where that's not where people are really interacting with your website.
Yep.
Another process of thinking out loud testing. Basically, what they were explaining is, think out loud. You can watch people in your target market speak their thoughts aloud. Actually, have a couple people actually sit and go through your site, not yourself, not walking through your own transaction, but ask them to read aloud and actually tell you what their thoughts are as they're going from page to page to page.
And be careful not to ask them to criticize, though.
That's right.
A lot of times when people are in that focus group methodology, they think, I've got to come up with 10 corrections. Well, if you're getting them to look for problems, then they're always going to find them. They might not be the problems that you really have.
That's right. Okay, so let me give you edge talk real quick.
Edge Talk.
Real quick, 5 ways to find out why your customers aren't buying from you. Chat logs, add some surveys on the page, talk to your sales and customer support, and also eat your own dog food. Pretend to be a customer going through, and do that every month. And think out loud. Test some of the information, some of the ways that people can actually transact with the website, and listen to them.